beyond its boundaries. Our change will lead to better lives for all. New Lotte, the power of a better world. New today, better tomorrow. Lotte.
Coming up on Arirang News. Amid extreme heat waves in the country, South Korea's disaster response headquarters raises its emergency operation to level 2 for the very first time. Tonight, we take a look at how farmers are scrambling to keep their crops and animals safe. Typhoon Khanun slammed southern Japan, reportedly killing 2 people and injuring dozens. It forced evacuations while also cutting off power to 1/3 of homes on the Okinawa Islands. NewJeans reaches the #1 spot on the US Billboard 200 album chart with their second EP, Get Up. And the album's 3 lead tracks also land on the Billboard's Hot 100, making them the first K-pop girl group to achieve this.
Good evening. It's 9 p.m. here in Seoul. Thank you for joining us on Arirang News. We begin with the South Korean government's response to the scorching heat wave. The Ministry of the Interior and Safety has increased its emergency operation to level 2 for the very first time. Level 2 is issued when the apparent temperature is expected to be 35 degrees Celsius or higher in at least 108 regions or at least 3 days. The government also announced that it'll provide 6 billion won or around $4.6 million to prevent and overcome any damage caused by the heat wave. Half of that will be used immediately for the World Scout Jamboree to prepare emergency supplies for people suffering from heat-related illnesses, increase the number of air conditioning shuttle buses to the site, and install additional air conditioning units in hospitals that are looking after people from the event. The impact of extreme weather has been lasting for days here in the country. In rural areas, farmers are doing all they can to keep their crops and animals safe, as the damage from the heat has been worsened by the recent heavy rains. Shin Se-byuk reports.
Eggplants scattered all over the ground. These vegetables have withered under the high temperatures that have gripped South Korea. Farmers try to shield them from the heat, but it barely helps. The intense heat has caused the eggplants to lose their natural color, which impacts their quality and how many a farmer can sell. This year's yield is only 60% of what it was last year. And of those, 7 out of 10 boxes contain lower quality produce. It's been a double whammy for the farmers as the damage has only worsened after the monsoon season.
This year, extreme heat came right after the heavy rain, leaving the eggplants struggling to adapt and grow properly.
Soybeans are also feeling the impact. The same farmer has had to plant soybeans 5 times this year, much more than usual, and most of them have wilted early. Even those that managed to grow cannot fully ripen, falling victim to the relentless heat. It's not just the crops and vegetables that are struggling. Cattle are finding it tough to cope with the sweltering conditions. Farmers are trying to keep their cattle cool by running air conditioning units non-stop.
With this scorching weather, you can see a significant drop in the cattle's appetite. And it's not just that. It's also noticeably affecting their fertility rates.
Such extreme heat is deadly for farm animals. Exposure to extreme temperatures could result in heat stress and eventually death. According to the Ministry of the Interior and Safety, as of August 1st, over 150,000 farm animals have died due to the heat wave this summer.
The fully fledged typhoon season is expected soon, adding to the farmers' worries. Authorities fear that the damage will escalate, and so farmers are bracing themselves for what's to come. Shin Se-byuk, Arirang News.
The scorching heat is also baking the world, with 80% of the global population having been exposed to higher than normal temperatures in July. Lee Seung-jae covers this concerning weather conditions.
It's the middle of the day in Iran, yet banks and shops in downtown areas are closed. It's unusual to see these places closed at a time when there's usually a sizable volume of foot traffic. However, with Iran seeing record-breaking temperatures this week, the government declared a two-day shutdown due to health concerns as the intense heat wave in the Middle Eastern nation saw temperatures rise past 50 degrees Celsius.
I have never experienced such heat in Tehran. I have experienced it in the south of Iran when I was there for a while.
The Americas are also experiencing a brutal summer. The Argentine capital, Buenos Aires, is seeing temperatures 5 degrees Celsius higher than temperatures normally experienced at this time of the year. Over in the U.S. state of Arizona, the region saw a month of temperatures reaching 43 degrees Celsius. Even the cactus, known for resilience against the heat, have been withering away due to the intense weather. And in Greece, too, where tourism has been hit hard due to wildfires caused by the heat wave, a decision has been made to compensate vacationers who are impacted by the mass evacuations there. According to climate change watchdog Climate Central, 4 out of 5 people on the planet had a hotter July, and it says climate change is the main reason for the global heat wave. And global warming will also damage the economy, according to economists. International credit rating agency Moody's predicted that the increase in temperature due to continuous heat waves could shrink global GDP by 17.6% by 2100. Lee Seung-jae, Arirang News.
Typhoon Khanun slammed southern Japan, reportedly killing 2 people and injuring dozens. It forced evacuations and flight cancellations, while also cutting off power to 1/3 of the homes on the Okinawa islands. Chung Eun-ju brings us up to speed.
Typhoon Khanun passed Okinawa and other islands in southwestern Japan on Wednesday. According to the Japan Meteorological Agency and Okinawa Electric Power Company, the typhoon packed winds of up to 234 kilometers per hour and left more than 166,000 households out of power on Thursday morning. According to the local fire and disaster management agency, 2 people were reported dead and at least 41 in Okinawa and Kagoshima prefectures were injured. Authorities say the typhoon is moving so slowly that its damaging impact could be prolonged. Hundreds of domestic and international flights in and out of Naha Airport were canceled on Wednesday, leaving thousands of tourists stranded, and public transportation, including buses, light rail transit systems, and ferries connecting the region's islands, were suspended. The agency also added that up to 200 millimeters of rainfall was expected in the Okinawa region by midday Thursday. The Japanese Meteorological Agency predicts the typhoon that's currently moving northwest through the East China Sea will turn northeastward by Friday, potentially heading to Japan's 3rd largest island, Kaichou. Though the typhoon is not expected to approach the Korean peninsula, waves around Jeju Island are set to reach 4 to 6 meters, and the far seas of eastern Namhae will see waves 3 to 5 meters high. Meanwhile, the heat wave is expected to persist in Korea as the typhoon adds more heat to the hot and humid air already blowing in from the North Pacific High and the Tibetan anticyclone. It will also bring strong winds for the southern part of the country and Jeju Island. The Korea Meteorological Administration says it cannot yet rule out the possibility of the typhoon affecting the Korean peninsula and advises people to check the latest weather information. Chung Eun-ju, Arirang News.
On the economic front, persistent price pressures in the food sector are taking their toll on restaurants. According to Statistics Korea on Thursday, the retail sales index for dining and drinking establishments in the second quarter of this year saw an on-year drop of 13.4%, the biggest fall since 2021. The agency is linking the drop in sales to high prices of dining out and the base effect from a strong performance the previous year. Foreign reserves have expanded for the second month in a row here in Korea. According to the Bank of Korea on this Thursday, the reserves grew $350 million on month in July to total $421.8 billion. Central bank officials are linking the finding to the weaker greenback, strengthening the value of other currencies. As of late June, Korea ranks 8th in the world in terms of foreign reserves. Many women in South Korea face years of unwanted career breaks, especially following marriage, a problem closely linked to the nation's plummeting birth rate. Our Lee Soo-jin looks for ways that can help women to go back to work and find a work-life balance.
Women in South Korea who have been on long career breaks are determined to rejoin the workforce. But many, such as Pi Jin-won, have trouble figuring out how to do so, partly because of the changes that occurred during their time away.
Back when I first started working, most of the stuff was done manually. But when I came back, everything was computerized.
Women's participation in the workforce shows an M-shaped curve, meaning that the percentage employed plunges for women in their 30s. And the average time that it takes for those women to find employment again has increased from 7.9 years in 2019 to 8.9 years in 2022. So how can these women return to work sooner rather than later? Women like Pi Jin-won are turning to job training centers dedicated to shortening women's career breaks. This government-sponsored center in Seoul is just one of 18 that offers various job training for women. Pi, who has taken several classes at her local job training center, hopes to start an online business.
I want to feel accomplished by contributing to society before I get any older.
Classes that help women earn babysitting and barista certificates, as well as ones that teach them how to start online businesses, are just some of the options available. Cho Eun-rae successfully launched her own business after taking classes at one of these centers. Cho had a decade-long career gap before she started her own publishing company. She turns children's artwork and stories into books and publishes them so they can be sold at Kyobo Books, the nation's biggest book chain.
Children can see that their work has economic value as they can earn copyright fees from having their books sold.
She says that one of the biggest perks of running her own company is that it allows her to have autonomy over her work hours. She typically works while her children are at school, and when they come home, she spends time with them and helps them with their homework. Working from home not only saves her on rent, but makes it easier for her to do everyday tasks, such as making snacks for her kid. And her favorite time of the day is when she gets to sit down and spend quality time with her son. She says that her goal is to one day hire other women like her.
I want to have a business that creates employment.
She also hopes that more women get the courage and opportunity to start their own companies. But starting their own business isn't the only option available to these women who want to return to work. There are areas that are facing severe workforce shortages, such as in the STEM fields. Other institutions connect women on career breaks to positions in science fields and fund their research. One woman who successfully returned to work as a senior researcher through one such institution is Yang Seung-ho.
I've been able to publish SCI-grade journals and do government research. I also have colleagues that have been a huge source of strength.
The president of the institution that helped Yang rejoin the workforce as a senior researcher told us these women could help mitigate the STEM workforce shortage.
There's expected to be a shortage of 47,000 science and technology professionals by 2028, but there are currently about 190,000 women in the science field who are experiencing career interruptions.
She says that there is still much that can be done to shorten women's career breaks.
We need to up the effectiveness and usage of parental leave programs and encourage more men to take parental leave.
She said that it's crucial for these women to be actively supported not just by these institutions, but by their families. A greater awareness of the ways these women can contribute once they return to the workforce, along with the support to help them do so, will ultimately benefit the economy and society as a whole. 이수진, Arirang News.
Global stock markets have been struggling after Fitch Ratings cut the credit rating of the U.S. government. However, experts believe the impact may not be that significant. Our economic correspondent Shin-Young reports.
Global financial stocks have taken a tumble after Fitch Ratings, one of the three major independent agencies that assess credit worthiness, lowered its credit rating for the U.S. from the top AAA to AA+. Most Asian markets declined on Thursday, although this was less severe compared to the previous day. South Korea's benchmark Kospi slipped by 0.42%, closing the day at a little above the 2,600 mark after dropping below that level during the trading session. The Nikkei 225 in Japan fell 1.68%. On the other hand, China's Shanghai Composite, which saw a drop the day before, rose on Thursday due to improvements in China's services sector index. The situation of U.S. stocks was not much different, closing lower on Wednesday. The Dow Jones Industrial Average fell nearly 1%, while the S&P 500 slipped over 1.3%, and the tech-heavy Nasdaq lost more than 2%. Conversely, the 10-year U.S. Treasury yield has hit its highest level since last November as risk-averse investors sought safe haven assets following the agency's downgrade. Experts anticipate that after some short-term disruption, there shouldn't be too much of a prolonged reaction to the change in the rating.
Investors tend to be a bit reactive by nature. The real underlying drivers of what determines the valuation of company stocks and how they do over time are not so much related to the rating of the U.S. government.
Another expert says the U.S. economy is robust enough that the rating cut is less likely to affect the global economy.
The slump in stocks is temporary. As the U.S. economy has several other positive aspects, the recent downgrade of the U.S. credit rating will not have a significant impact on the global economy or emerging markets in Asia.
He added that due to strong economic factors in the U.S. other than the national debt, there is less chance of significant capital outflows from the U.S. Shin-Young, Arirang News.
South Korea's Nat'l Security Office Director Cho Tae-yong will this week be participating in multinational talks in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia about peace in Ukraine. That's according to South Korea's top office on Thursday. The multinational talks will take place on this Saturday and Sunday, and South Korea's involvement is a follow-up to President Yoon Suk-yeol's Ukrainian Peace and Solidarity Initiative. The talks have been organized by Ukraine for top security advisors to discuss the Ukraine peace formula, 10 points laid out by Ukraine, which includes the restoration of its territorial integrity and the withdrawal of Russian troops. They'll also try to lay out a plan for a summit. According to Wall Street Journal, there will be around 30 countries attending. Russia was not invited. The Japanese government has said that it'll continue to uphold its official apology on the issue of comfort women, people who were forced into sexual slavery by the Imperial Japanese Army during World War II. The country's top government spokesperson, Hirokazu Matsuno, said Thursday that the Kishida administration will continue to uphold the position of previous cabinets regarding the comfort women as a whole. This includes the Gono statement issued in 1993 by Yohei Gono, who was Japan's chief cabinet secretary at the time. Matsuno added that this means Japan will remember the issue of comfort women and that this shows the country's determination that it must not be repeated. His remarks come a day before it marks exactly 30 years since the Gono statement was issued on August 4, 1993. Nearly 200,000 women, mostly Koreans, were forced into sexual slavery during Japan's colonial rule. Personal belongings of Korean independence activists Lee Bong-chang and Yoon Bong-gil will be available for public viewing for the upcoming National Liberation Day. The National Museum of Korea announced on Thursday that the special exhibition will be held from Saturday until August 31st and will include a 1931 handwritten declaration from Yi, a member of the Korean Patriot Corps. In addition, the oldest remaining Korean national flag given by King Go-jong to Owen Denny, his American diplomatic advisor, and thus known as Denny's 태극기, will be displayed. These cultural heritages highlight the sacrifices of activists for Korea's independence during the Japanese occupation. NewJeans reaches the #1 spot on the U.S. Billboard 200 album chart with their second EP, Get Up. And the album's 3 lead tracks landed on the Billboard's Hot 100 chart, making them the first K-pop girl group to achieve this. Our Iuni has more.
K-pop girl group NewJeans topped the Billboard 200 chart this Wednesday, U.S. time, with the release of their new album Get Up. This is only the group's second extended play album, as they debuted just last year. The album consists of 6 songs, and to sit atop the Billboard 200 chart is only the second time for a K-pop girl group after Blackpink. Also, all 3 lead-off songs have entered the Billboard Hot 100 chart, making NewJeans the first K-pop girl group to achieve this, following in boy band BTS's footsteps. The Billboard 200 chart ranks the most popular albums of the week in the United States based on multi-metric consumption measured in equivalent album units. This includes album sales, track equivalent albums, and streaming equivalent albums. The Billboard Hot 100 chart is based on streaming activity across the United States. Experts attributed the group's success to their trendy music style along with their ability to express their own unique characteristics through their music. The album's 3 lead-offs, Super Shy, ETA, and Cool With You, are relatively short at under 3 minutes. Music critic Kim Do-hun said this appeals to a younger generation's music trend that has been going on since 2020 on the media platform TikTok. NewJeans maintained their signature trendy and easy listening style from previous releases. Kim added that the members' airy vocals also appeal to the current music taste, which is expressed in detail through the songs with quality production. The group's marketing strategy, including collaboration with brands such as Apple and media franchise of Powerpuff Girls, have also received praise for being trendy.
This album consists of music with electronic beats and the styles of pop singer-songwriters that are trending on TikTok. NewJeans are very good at capturing the trend and adding their own uniqueness to the overall production.
NewJeans, celebrating their first debut anniversary, continued the global syndrome with their new album Get Up. Lee Eun-hee, Arirang News.
The intense heat that persisted for the past week will continue to broil the nation. Seoul will see highs staying in the 35-degree mark, while other regions such as Arirang will be hotter. Along with the brutally hot temperatures, the sun's UV radiation will be high as well. It will be best to avoid outdoor activities under such conditions. If you have to head outside, wear plenty of sunblock and try to stay hydrated. Southern parts of the country will see on and off showers for the daytime. This is due to the unstable air caused by extreme heat. Parts of Chungcheongdo and Jeollado provinces will see 5 to 60 millimeters. Gyeongsangdo provinces will see a little more with up to 80 millimeters in the forecast. Tomorrow, Seoul and Gwangju will be starting off at 26 degrees Celsius. Highs in Seoul and Chuncheon will get up to 35, Gwangju 36, Gyeongju will be hot at 37 degrees. This weekend will be scorching at 36 degrees in Seoul. Hot spells will continue until next week. That's all for now, and here are the weather conditions around the world.
That is all for this Thursday night newscast. Thank you for watching. We'll be back tomorrow with the most up-to-date news. Good night.
하나, 둘, 셋.
Hey, Mr. Cupid, who's mine? Make sure you listen to what I say. I may be stupid or quite naive.
끝없이 쏟아지는 포토 스팟. 휴대폰 한 대로